Hello, hello, and welcome to a new Markets Middleman video. Today, unlike the previous weekends, it's not going to be about a market forecast or a yearly recap. Today, I decided to share a personal anchor, and it's kind of a way to lock in the lessons, refinements, and standards that 2025 revealed, which was one of the greatest years in my career as a trader. So, first things first, I'm going to be sharing this to close a chapter properly, to carry what matters forward, and to enter 2026 with clarity, structure, and a vision forward. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I know that there's a lot of people that they are on the way to learn how to trade and really taking this business seriously. And I'm more than sure that you either pass through this stuff or maybe in the future during 2026 you're gonna relate a lot into those phases that I personally passed through from previous years and this year specifically. So, first, I would like to start with finding my trading personality. And it happened only after I decided to create my own strategy and to stop comparing myself to any other guy on the internet or social media or anything like that. It's very important to have a mentor, but at the end of the day, you have to take what works and configure it and customize it your own way. So, not every system fits every trader. My edge works because it matches who I am. My edge aligns with my temperament, my patience level, my decision making style, and even my lifestyle. So keep that in mind. When edge and personality match, execution becomes simpler. And psychology only matters after the edge is defined. So if you are top A level mindset operator, but if you don't have a clear and simple edge to process through trading, your psychology is gonna go down and your mindset is gonna be definitely affected. And vice versa, if you have the best technical edge and a worse psychology behavior, you're never going to be able to be profitable. So those two should be aligned. So first step is to define what kind of trader, the type of trader, what trading personality suits you, and then you start working on your psychology around that level. So during this year, there's a lot of illusions that was broken. So first, I believed that if I just keep on refining my strategy enough, consistency would follow. But in reality, my strategy was already sufficient, but my execution was not. So the real issue could be was one of those stuff, okay? And a lot of times, all of them combined. It was self-mistrust and emotional interference, a fragile relationship with money, and I often knew exactly what to do but hesitated, adjusted, or avoided execution because I was trying to protect myself rather than follow the system. And mistrust showed up in a lot of ways, such as it showed up as hesitating on clean A plus setup, second guessing entries I had already planned, looking for extra confirmation when none was needed, and letting recent losses influence the next decision. So this hesitation exactly costed me tens and tens of A plus setup, and it even costed me more than bad trades ever did. So yeah, that was a big deal to break. And also another thing was fear of big real money. So once I made my first scale up this year, it was in bigger than usual accounts that I was traded. And yes, we are all maybe most of you tried to apply for funded accounts. Some of you might be funded already. So after you make some profits, after you get funded in a real funded account, the profits that you made are a potential payout. So yeah, risking the next trade from the potential payout that you had is also can be considered as big money, especially if you're trading 100 or 200k accounts. But anyway, trading real capital exposed patterns that weren't visible in small accounts or in the challenging phases. So fear of losing money created tension before the execution even started, and losses felt personal instead of informational. So I subconsciously tried to avoid discomfort instead of follow rules, and real money didn't change my skill, it actually amplified unresolved psychology. So this really took me months in order for me to recalibrate my relationship, work on my psychology and my relationship with money until I was able to break out of those old patterns that followed me for a long time. Also, the cost of guilt and delayed integration after mistakes. So, you feel guilty sometimes for making a mistake, and we feel down. You start punishing yourself, you talk bad to yourself, and this is all not acceptable. And this is not a real integration. So, what I used to do is that I used to feel guilty instead of curiosity. I judged myself instead of extracting lessons, and I carried emotional weight into the next session. So, this really delayed integration and extended drawdowns unnecessarily. What I realized is that fast, compassionate integration proved far more effective than self criticism. And only when I learned to love myself, embrace the journey, embrace and be grateful for those days which I felt very low and very down, only then I shifted my mindset into curiosity and real integration instead of feeling shame and guilt towards my actions. So, those are the illusions that I've broke and the stuff that costed me money and scalability in this business. And what started working is staying aligned and centered before execution. So, what does alignment actually means? At least from my perspective, alignment is not motivation or confidence. Alignment means emotional neutrality before execution. When you feel no urgency to trade, even if you stay 10 trading days without any trade, you have to believe that your next A plus setup is going to be waiting for you. And most of the time, it's sooner than you even expect. Alignment means that you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. Okay? It means that you have presence in the moment. So when you're aligned, execution becomes simple and clean. So this is really very important. And throughout the time, structure was acting as emotional protection. What I mean by that is that the structure protected me when emotions couldn't. So even though when you have some emotions, you just have to be aware of them, let them pass through, and get back to your structure. So this structure for me included the clear high time frame bias, predefined risk and invalidation, fewer decisions at execution time, and consistent journaling. The more structure I had, the less emotion interfered. And I will talk about journaling a little bit soon. So, yeah, trusting the edge without negotiation. My edge, sorry, works only when I execute without internal debate. I accept losses as part of distribution, and I don't try to improve the setup in real time. Negotiating was the edge killer. Negotiating with the edge is the fastest way to break it. And this is really, really important. So once you reach the time where you're executing a trade, you're in the zone. You're just present, grounded. You've done the hard work already. And this is the least time you need to question, doubt, or hesitate any decision you're taking. So I started embodying the probability. And I believed in the probability over the outcome. Every individual trade is irrelevant. What matters? Series of trades, consistent execution, risk to reward discipline. Once I truly accepted this, pressure disappeared and execution improved naturally. After all of this recalibration, which took some time, I started getting the best out of my journaling experience. So I started journaling as trust building, not just data collection. So journaling stopped being just about screenshots and stats. It became a mirror for behavior, a record of emotional patterns, a tool for building self-trust. So the trust grew when I saw myself following the rules all over again. Trust grew when I saw that yes, right now trading can be an actual business because it's repeating same behavior. It has an average trades per month. I have an average risk to reward. I know the assets that I'm trading. Only then you can actually perceive trading as a real actual business, and you can kind of create certainty in this uncertain world. So this was really one of the most important phases in my career until I started knowing more about money and psychology. So the biggest shift that happened was that money stopped defining my worth. Okay, we can talk a lot about this in future talks, which I look forward to discuss more stuff on this channel. But really, when money stopped defining my self-worth, P&L stopped validating or invalidating me as a person, capital became responsibility and not pressure. When money became feedback instead of identity, clarity returned to my execution. So I faced stuff which I refer to as respecting capital versus protecting myself. So I'll give you an example. Protecting myself looked like avoiding value trades, reducing risk emotionally, and breaking rules to feel safe. So this is when you want to protect the self. You don't want to feel those emotions. So this is why you try to avoid. And respecting capital looked like following the process, managing risk objectively, and accepting drawdowns without reaction. So they are definitely not the same. So step by step, discipline started to be redefined. So discipline and what I learned also about discipline is that it can never come by force. Discipline is an agreement with myself, consistency with my rules, and calm repetition. When discipline became alignment, not pressure, it became sustainable. So you cannot fight yourself every day to become disciplined. It's either you are disciplined or not. Mark Douglas in the book Trading in the Zone spoke about this endlessly and he gave a lot of examples. So if you haven't read this book yet in your trading career and you're facing some issues in being disciplined and consistent in trading, I highly recommend you to read this book. So, moving forward and some direction on 2026, the identity you must close in 2025 is the identity that needs to prove consistency, needs to trade to recover, the identity that seeks validation from results instead of progress, and question the edge emotionally. That identity should have served its purpose, okay? But right now there's something else to be served with a different identity. And the identity that operates or must operate in 2026 is the identity who executes calmly, that trust structure over emotion, which respects capital through process, and which allows results to compound naturally. So in 2026, try not to trade from fear, protection, or hesitation. This year, trade from alignment, structure, and self-trust. Also, one thing is worth mentioning, and it's one of the most important things that helped me develop in 2025 is the power of the community. So whether it's with my partners that we trade together every single day and we exchanging value, we're reflecting on each other, helping each other grow, and also the other part is the communities, the students that were seeking knowledge and true progress in this business, and this really make my heart very big and wide open because you guys made this journey much bigger and much worthwhile. And when you see those people striving for more, working on themselves on a daily basis, asking questions, progressing, and really taking it serious on a trading and personal level, this is one of my biggest drives. So I'm really proud of each and every one of you. I'm thankful for you for trusting the process and trusting in yourself. And yes, that really left a very big mark on my heart during this year. So I'm really thankful for the overall experience. And by this time, I wanted this to be like not too long, but sharp, anchored message, just for to be effective and not to take much of your time. I'm really grateful and thankful for you if you made it that far. And 2025 shaped the foundation. 2026 is about execution, consistency, and scale. So the door is wide open to 2026, and the work continues right after this moment. So I'm really excited and grateful about everything I passed through this year. And I really can't wait to take this experience to the next level with you guys during 2026. I just can't wait to start. And yeah, don't forget to take very good care of yourself, enjoy this holidays, enjoy your time with the new year, and make sure to be more than ready for the best year so far, 2026, starting next week. So, yeah, let's go.